They present the film Saldatiki, Little Soldiers, Olena Furdui, film producer, Andriy Kuchmiy, film director, Oleksandr Pushkin, executive producer, and Iryna Bondar, the executive producer as well. You're welcome. Hello, everybody. We're Young Filmmakers Union, a public organization, very young, but over these 3 or 4 years that we've been in existence, we were holding different events that help creative youth to develop here in Ukraine, to raise the cinematography, and one of the projects we are holding is the Festival of Movies, and today also there's a festival of musical clips, and this year we united and filmed a short movie after Volodymyr Vinnichenko's work, Saldatiki, Little Soldiers, and so here is the man who took this film to Western Ukraine to show it to the people and show how the problem is repeating today. Like Volodymyr Vinnichenko wrote about this 100 years ago, but now everything is repeated. Oleksandr Pushkin, we showed this film in Western Ukraine, 10 cities from Vinnytsia to Zhytomyr, and it was very pleasant to see at our presentations. The audience was composed from teachers and directors of schools, also officials from mayor's offices, and there was a lot of questions, who you are and what are you doing, but we were really pleased that people were becoming emotional. They forgot about which party or organization they belonged to, and just talked about what they saw, because Volodymyr Vinnichenko very aptly described the situation that really repeated in Maidan. He only wrote about a little Ukrainian village, about villagers and the landowner and the soldiers who were meant to be used against the people who went to uprising. So we went to 10 cities, and we had school children, including young and senior school children, and it was very pleasant to us to see how people said that they love this movie, and it was very, very important and pleasant that this was a Ukrainian film, and they said so that for the first time they saw the Ukrainian film. We want to show that we have cinema in Ukraine, and specialists who learn at our institutes are ready to shoot the films, and we would like them to work according to their profession. This is our mission as well, and with this I give the floor to the head of our union, film producer Olena Furdui. Good afternoon. I am very pleased to debut with the Union of Young Filmmakers with this film. In spite of this being a short film, it does convey the entire situation that was happening in Maidan. We did not shoot a documentary. I understand that this is strong, patriotic, and people were risking in order to show the chronicle, but
to go with such a film to the festival to get some awards, I believe that would be wrong. So we filmed Vinnichenko, who is in the Golden Fund of Ukraine. For me, that was something new, and I'm happy that we can had this project which is quite educational. We filmed just short story. This film is called Saldatiki. That's the attitude of Vladimir Vinichenko to the situation in those years. We can find a lot of similarities with what's happening now. We were shooting in spring, and one of the characters, negative characters, is officer who speaks Russian. At that time, there was no war taking place, but even then, it was like Russians. In this short story, they were against Ukrainians. And I would like to invite now the director of the film, who will tell you how we came up with the idea and how it was set up, and that is Andriy Kuchmiy, the film director. Good afternoon. I will be very brief. I will say why I came up with this idea, why I got interested in this scenario. When I first read this Vinichenko story, Saldatiki, I liked it. But at that time, it seemed very simple to me, but its real value I realized only a few years later when the event started in Maidan. I realized that in general, Ukrainian people have always been fighting for their truth, for just the truth. And Vladimir Vinichenko described the events which took place here, but he wrote about that 100 years ago, and that is why I wanted to express all the emotions which I had when I was reading this story. So, in general, the project is very specific because we were using minimum money. When shooting, we were saving whatever we could, because the budget of the film for historic picture, that was minimum. It was difficult to compete with some big companies because we could not afford to spend a lot of money per day. The main thing here is not the budget, but people who were working on this film with their hearts burning. People were enjoying it just because they were creating the idea which is to unite and which should be quite a new one in Ukrainian cinematography. We dedicated this film to those who died, who were killed at Maidan, who gave their lives for the freedom of Ukraine, who were fighting for the truth that we are talking about in our film. And I would like to show you the trailer of our film. We are robbed. And they just tell us go and work, but can we be silent? Enough of that. Who? I am one of yours. Why? I came up to take my bread. I will not let you in. Go away from my gate. We will live fine now. Why are you here? You robbed and now you came to request. We did not rob anyone. This is the last time I tell you, go away, otherwise I will kill you like dogs. Rifles up. not criminals. We're people, to the memory of those who were killed at Maidan. In general, the film will tell the truth which we have to fight for. Thank you. Any questions? Then I have a question. The anniversary of events in Maidan is very close. When are you planning, and how are you planning to demonstrate your film? We have showed it in 10 cities of the western Ukraine. We plan to show it in 11 cities of the south and east of Ukraine. In the end of the month, we will tour these cities. That was just for some local representatives of culture and education. And they brought a big audience of students and school children. We will repeat this tour. The Ministry of Culture gives us cinema houses free, and some sponsors are ready to provide bus to us because we were just traveling by trains. Two of us, for our own money, will go all over Ukraine. And many of our actors are where all the real men are. In the ATO will be showing our film with their assistants in the front line, and locally people are interested. We received requests to show this film in military units in Zhytomyr, in Lutsk, in Kiev. There's a proposal from representatives of educational sector to show it in the universities and institutes, but our team is not that big. And parallel to that, we have to earn some money just to live, and as soon as, whenever we can, we go and show our film. How much time did it take to shoot the film? Maybe the director will tell you better. It took us, it was in spring, and the process took about 7 days, as I remember. But again, because we had minimum budget and we were trying to cover as much as possible within 1 day. So we were shooting from the morning till late evening because we could not afford more days. I believe that such a film could have continued for another week, and the film itself is 17 minutes long. Where were you shooting it? In Pirogovo Museum near Kiev. And what's the budget? The budget, our producer Elena will tell you. Very often the question is asked when we were traveling to the western Ukraine. I want to inform you all that all they invented these million budgets. That's not true. You can make a high quality movie for Ukrainians, for Europeans. Of course not a movie for, say, the United States, but our budget wasn't higher than 100,000 hryvnias. I believe that the specialists can see some errors there. It was very difficult to shoot. If we had double of that sum, we wouldn't have any errors there. For just regular viewer, tomorrow at 5:30 in Zhovten movie house, we will be showing it for the first time at Zhovten movie house, Konstantinovskaya 26, tomorrow at 5:30. What are your plans for the future? Are you planning to shoot more? Another of our plan, why we were inviting representatives of culture and education. We saw the reaction of children. The cadets came from Kursk. They and we're very much interested. In our plans, we will try to find the support in the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Education, but we plan to make 3 or 4 similar short movies to show them all over the country, because we were going to the movie houses in Ivano-Frankovsk, in other cities. The movie houses are empty in the daytime. It would be great if we can show to school children to show such video lessons, because it's difficult to force children to read books. But if a child goes to the movie house and sees some classic piece in a movie, which is in very short one, not for an hour and a half. So this way we can popularize, we can start making massive movies, filming Ukrainian classical literature, and our Ukrainian directors can do that, because many of our young people go abroad because it's difficult to earn money here, or they work for some foreign companies, for Russia, just to earn money. And I believe after that movie, we heard many good a lot of good feedback from directors of schools that they are ready to help us. We had representatives of regional administrations who were saying they are ready to provide some money for such a program, and these are our plans. And while we were traveling all over the Western Ukraine, we were receiving proposals to make movies about real heroes, and we now started implementing the idea, the patriotic feature films about the guys who are in the ATO zone. These are not the stories about how they were taking the tanks, seizing the tanks or something, but simpler films about patriotism, so that the young generation understands what's patriotism, what's the motherland, so that they understand what people are fighting for, that we are fighting for the motherland, for mothers. It's not like leftists are fighting against rightists. And there are several documentary films, and they are translated into film scenarios, and we will make a series of short films, about 10 of them, that will be demonstrated to everyone. Any other questions? Once we have no more questions, I would like to thank you, and we invite the artists to Ukrainian Crisis Media Center quite often, and we are glad that in Ukraine we have such young artists. Thank you for coming here. We hope that your film tomorrow will have a full house of viewers, and that is all for today. Thank you.